Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we really dig into things so you don't have to wade through it all yourself. We pull out the key stuff.
That's the idea. We do the heavy lifting.
And today, we're jumping into something I found really interesting, sparked by Dr. Lutz Kraushaar's Substack, Double Check Doc.
Right. Dr. Kraushaar, he's a doctor of public health, got an MSc in exercise and nutrition too. His whole thing is looking beyond the surface on health topics.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, which is really for you, the listener, we're tackling this question that popped up in one of his posts. Can you actually be, fat but fit?
And are there maybe hidden health risks? Even if someone looks super healthy and active, he uses this really compelling case study to explore it.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to unpack. So what you'll get is a look at a real investigation into this whole fat but fit paradigm.
We'll break down a specific test, one you might not have heard much about, figure out what the frankly surprising results mean.
And discover some potential strategies for, optimizing health, even if you think you're already doing pretty well. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, so it all starts with this guy, Marcus. He's 52, a master athlete.
And just to clarify, a master athlete, that's usually someone over 40, right?
Yeah.
Still competing seriously.
Yeah, exactly. And Marcus is the real deal.
Definitely not just a weekend warrior. We're talking 20, maybe 25 hours a week of training, mostly cycling, some running.
And, get this, his power output. He can hold 300 watts for 10 minutes straight on the bike.
Wow. That's serious performance. Better than a lot of younger athletes, I bet.
It really is. Shows incredible fitness. But here's the puzzle, the head scratcher.
Right.
Despite all that training and what he thought was a pretty dialed-in diet, Marcus couldn't shift a significant amount of body fat. He's 180 centimeters, 89 kilograms, so a BMI of 28.
Okay.
Which Dr. Kraushaar points out is like 4 or 5 BMI points higher than the average for other endurance master athletes like him.
Man, that must have been incredibly frustrating, putting in all that work.
Absolutely. And Marcus himself, he had this suspicion that maybe chronic high stress was playing a role somehow.
Okay, so if he came to you saying, help me lose this weight, what's the first thought? I mean, nowadays, everyone jumps to those GLP-1 drugs, right? Ozempic, Wegovy.
Yeah, that's definitely the buzzworthy option. And they work for weight loss, no question. But Dr. Kraushaar's approach in this post and what we're digging into is different. It's about understanding the why metabolically.
Looking under the hood.
Exactly. Now, Dr. Kraushaar is generally a bit skeptical when people just blame a slow metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
He emphasizes consistency with diet and exercise first.
Right.
But he absolutely acknowledges that real metabolic glitches, let's call them, can be a factor in why someone struggles with weight. And that brings us to insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance. We hear that term a lot. And like you said, it's what drugs like Ozempic target. So why the deeper dive for Marcus beyond just eat less, move more?
Well, 2 big reasons jumped out. First, this whole fat but fit idea. It sounds good, but it might be masking underlying metabolic problems that could bite you later if you don't catch them.
Okay, so hidden risks.
Hidden risks, exactly. And second, Marcus specifically mentioned chronic high stress. That was a huge flag.
Why the stress part?
Because there's this really strong link. Dr. Kraushaar actually wrote about it before the stress-insulin resistance axis. Basically, long-term high stress, high cortisol levels can seriously mess with how your body uses insulin.
Got it. So stress isn't just mental, it's metabolic.
It's very physical, yes. So stress and potential insulin resistance are the prime suspects. Now, usually you'd check blood sugar with a fasting glucose test, right?
Yeah, the standard blood test.
But Dr. Kraushaar went a step further with Marcus. He ordered an oral glucose tolerance test, an OGTT.
Okay, the OGTT. Why is that more informative here?
Well, the fasting test is just one snapshot, before you've eaten. The OGTT shows how your body handles a sugar load over time. It's more dynamic.
How does it usually work, the standard OGTT?
Typically, you fast overnight, get your blood drawn for fasting glucose. Then you drink this sugary drink, 75 grams of glucose.
Like really sweet stuff.
Oh, yeah. And then they measure your blood sugar again exactly 2 hours later. That 2-hour number is the key one in the standard test.
And what do those numbers mean?
Generally, under 140 milligrams per deciliter at 2 hours is considered normal. 200 or more might mean diabetes, if it's confirmed, and between 140 and 199 is called impaired glucose tolerance.
Seems simple enough.
Yeah.
But Dr. Kraushaar said the standard way misses things, and Marcus is proof.
Exactly. The standard interpretation has limitations. So what they did differently with Marcus is pretty key.
What was that?
Instead of just the fasting and the 2-hour measurement, they measured his blood sugar every 30 minutes after he drank the glucose.
Ah, okay. More data points.
Way more data points. Not standard procedure, like
Yeah.
Dr. Kraushar says, but sometimes you need to go off protocol to really see what's happening.
And I bet it showed something interesting in Marcus's case. What did those numbers look like?
Oh, definitely. So his fasting glucose before the sugar drink was 122 milli-DL.
Which is high-ish, right? Close to the diabetes cutoff.
Yeah, elevated. The typical cutoff for diabetes is 126. So 122 is definitely noteworthy. But then his 2-hour number, the standard one, came back at 79 milli-GL.
79, that's perfectly normal.
Exactly. By standard guidelines, looking only at the 2-hour mark, Marcus looked great metabolically.
My feel, the other numbers.
Yeah.
30-minute, 60-minute ones.
That's where the story completely changed. His 30-minute and 60-minute glucose values were way up, like well into the diabetic range.
Whoa. So a huge spike early
A
on.
massive spike. And Dr. Kraushar points to research showing these earlier measurements, the 30 and 60-minute ones, are actually better predictors of future diabetes than just the 2-hour value.
Really?
Yeah, one study he mentioned basically said a messed up 30-minute response is like the earliest warning sign you can detect for problems with your pancreas's insulin-making cells, the beta cells.
So even though he ended up okay at 2 hours, that initial surge was a big, big red flag. Suggests his system was really struggling to cope initially.
Precisely. His pancreas probably wasn't getting insulin out fast enough. That first phase response seemed impaired.
Wow. And there was something else, too, about the area under the curve. GlucAUC.
Right, the glucose area under the curve. It's more of a research tool, but it captures the total glucose exposure over the whole test.
Okay.
Even though Marcus's level came down nicely by 2 hours because of that huge initial spike, the total area under his glucose curve was much larger than a normal flatter curve would be.
So more overall exposure to high sugar levels, even if the endpoint looked good, like climbing a steep mountain quickly versus a gentle hill, the total effort or exposure is different.
That's a great way to put it. More time spent at higher glucose levels.
Okay, so let's recap the surprising results. High fasting glucose, massive early spike, then a crash, but a normal 2-hour number.
Mhm.
What were the big aha moments Dr. Kraushar pulled from this?
Okay, first, that elevated fasting glucose, the 122, that strongly points towards hepatic insulin resistance.
Hepatic, meaning the liver.
Exactly. Normally, when blood sugar and insulin go up, your liver should slow down its own glucose production. But with hepatic insulin resistance, it's like the liver's not getting the message properly. It keeps pumping out glucose.
Huh.
Dr. Kraushar had this funny analogy, like his wife telling him he's had enough wine, but the message doesn't quite land.
Okay, I get that. The liver isn't listening to the insulin signal. So that's insight one. What about the huge spike?
That big spike in the first hour, that screams struggle. His body just wasn't equipped to handle that glucose load efficiently right off the bat. It strongly suggests that impaired first-phase insulin response. We mentioned the pancreas isn't quick enough on the draw.
Right.
And get this, that peak glucose level Marcus hit. It actually met the criteria for diabetes according to the International Diabetes Federation, even though his 2-hour was normal.
That's quite a disconnect. And the crash afterwards. The rapid drop.
That's likely where his high fitness level kicked in. His muscles, conditioned by all that exercise, are very sensitive to insulin. So later in the tests, they were able to really soak up that glucose efficiently, pulling his levels down fast.
So fitness helped on the back end, but couldn't prevent the initial problems, the liver issue, and the slow pancreatic response.
You got it. It's like his fitness was cleaning up the mess later, but the mess still happened.
This really throws a wrench into the simple fat but fit idea, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Marcus is exhibit A for how high fitness can sort of paper over cracks in your metabolic foundation. The conventional markers might look okay-ish, but there's trouble underneath.
And that trouble, the insulin resistance, the glucose spikes, it's not harmless, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned the endothelium.
Right. Dr. Kraushar emphasizes that this pattern can be tough on the endothelium, the lining of your arteries. That lining is super important for cardiovascular health, for healthy aging in general. So constantly stressing it with big glucose swings isn't ideal.
So the paradox is, super fit guy, looks okay on standard tests mostly, but potentially has insulin resistance, maybe even meets diabetic criteria at certain points. Wild.
It really highlights the nuance.
And Marcus himself brought up stress.
Yeah.
How does that weave into this metabolic picture?
His intuition was likely bang on. Remember that stress-insulin resistance axis? Chronic high stress means chronic high cortisol.
Right.
And that constant cortisol bath makes your body less sensitive to insulin, tells your liver to make more glucose, encourages fat storage, especially that nasty visceral fat around the organs.
The really unhealthy kind.
Exactly. And it can even make it harder to burn fat during exercise. So ironically, all Marcus's intense training might have been, in a way, feeding into that chronic stress response if not managed properly.
Which is why just saying manage your stress is kind of unhelpful, like Dr. Crouchar noted.
Yeah, he finds that advice often falls flat without concrete, often metabolic strategies.
Okay, what about other clues? He mentioned skipping breakfast and having the munchies.
Ah, yes. The breakfast skipping actually fits the picture. If your fasting glucose is already high, like Marcus's was, your brain might sense enough fuel is available and not send strong hunger signals.
So not being hungry in the morning isn't always a good sign.
It could be a sign of high fasting glucose, or just habit, of course, but it fits. And the munchies, those intense cravings, that perfectly mirrors the spike and crash pattern in his OGTT.
How so?
When his blood sugar plummeted after that big spike, heading towards potentially low levels, his brain would have registered an energy crisis.
Need fuel now.
Exactly. Triggering intense hunger, especially for quick energy, high-calorie, tasty foods. The munchies.
Makes perfect sense. It's like his body was on this glucose roller coaster.
Pretty much. Now, Dr. Crouchar adds a little reality check here. You can't always be 100% certain pinpointing exact causes, right? It's often about educated guesses and then trying things out.
A trial and error approach.
Exactly. Which leads us to the personalized strategy he developed for Marcus.
Okay, so what was the game plan? What were they trying to achieve?
The main goals were 1. Improve his insulin sensitivity, 2. Make him more metabolically resilient to stress, and 3. Help him lose weight without needing meds. Basically, stabilize that glucose roller coaster.
Right. So element 1 was tackling breakfast.
Yes. Counterintuitively for some, not skipping breakfast was recommended here. Because of that suspected hepatic insulin resistance, skipping breakfast might actually make his morning glucose worse.
Interesting. So what kind of breakfast?
The idea was something with moderate carbs, enough to gently nudge that fasting glucose down, but designed carefully to avoid another big spike.
And there was a specific smoothie involved.
Yeah, a bespoke smoothie, high in fermentable, fiber-resistant starch.
Resistant starch. Like from oats, green bananas, cooled potatoes.
Exactly. Oats, green peas, beans, lentils, that kind of thing. This stuff feeds your good gut bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids.
And those are good because
they seem to improve insulin sensitivity, help control glucose spikes, reduce some harmful stuff from protein breakdown in the gut, and make you feel fuller. It hits multiple targets.
Okay, smart. What about the rest of his diet? Was it full keto?
More like a modified keto, maybe intermittent. The core idea was definitely carbohydrate restriction to stop those big glucose surges. Dr. Crouchar pointed to a recent review supporting keto for type 2 diabetes management.
But modified how?
While the best macro ratio isn't set in stone, the thinking was maybe a bit higher protein than typical keto, alongside fat and fiber. That combo seems to give a nice, delayed, sustained release of GLP-1.
Which helps blood sugar control and satiety.
Right. But again, it's about monitoring and adjusting based on how Marcus responds.
And his training. He was doing a ton. Any changes there?
Yes, and this might surprise some people. The suggestion was actually to reconsider that super high volume, maybe dial it back.
Really? Less exercise?
Potentially, because if he's already chronically stressed, that huge training load could be pushing his cortisol even higher, worsening the insulin resistance, maybe even encouraging that visceral fat.
Yeah.
It's that exercise paradox again.
Well, okay. Less might be more in this specific context. And how did they track progress?
Feedback was crucial. Dr. Crouchar is big on the N of 1 method, treating it like a personal experiment. Daily body weight tracking was key, plus monitoring blood glucose. Ideally, they'd also track endothelial function over time.
Continuously checking, adjusting.
It's that personalized trial and error based on his data.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what are the big takeaways for you, the listener, from Marcus's story?
I think there are a few really key things. First, fat but fit is, well, an oversimplification. Fitness is great, vital even, but it doesn't automatically mean perfect metabolic health underneath. Listen to your body beyond just your Strava stats.
Good point. What else?
Second, stress isn't just in your head. It's a physical metabolic force. Chronic stress really does impact hormones like cortisol, driving insulin resistance, cravings, fat storage. It's real.
Okay, stress matters metabolically.
Third, that non-standard OGTT tells a story. If you have risk factors or just a nagging feeling something's off metabolically, measuring glucose more frequently during an OGTT can reveal issues standard tests miss. Those early time points matter.
Right, the 30 and 60-minute marks.
Exactly. Fourth, maybe rethink automatically skipping breakfast if you suspect insulin resistance, especially that liver-driven kind. It could backfire for morning glucose control. It's nuanced.
Not a universal rule, then.
Definitely not. And finally, it's almost always multifactorial. Health issues rarely boil down to just one thing. It's usually an interplay of genetics, lifestyle, stress, diet.
Complex web.
Yeah. Which leads to a broader idea Dr. Kraushaar emphasizes: quality-adjusted life years, QALYs, and quality-adjusted life expectancy, KLA.
QLIs and KRAIL. Explain those a bit.
Think of a QAY as 1 year lived in perfect health. If you have limitations, maybe that year counts as, say, 0.8 QLOIs. Your KLE is your expected total number of these perfect health years you'll accumulate from now on.
So it's not just about lifespan, but health span. Years lived well.
Precisely. Dr. Kraushaar calls them well-being currencies, and conditions like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, they can take a big bite out of your KLE, especially if they hit later in life.
Because you have less time to accumulate those quality years.
Exactly. So being proactive, especially after 50 or so, becomes really important for maximizing that QLE.
Which makes you question just settling for fat but fit? Or ignoring how you personally respond to things, doesn't it? Is that the best bet for your long-term QAL?
That's the question he poses. And he mentions his own approach using self-experimentation, that N of 1 idea, to really understand how different things affect him. It allows for informed choices, even about things that might seem less healthy on the surface, because you understand the trade-offs and maybe how to mitigate them.
Making informed decisions based on your own data.
That's the goal.
So the overarching lesson here really seems to be that even if you feel fit, even if you seem healthy, there can be stuff going on metabolically that fitness alone doesn't fix or reveal.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder to listen closely to your body, maybe dig a bit deeper if you have those lingering suspicions, like Marcus did.
Were those ideas, QL and COIL, new concepts for you? And thinking about all this, what might actually motivate you to try your own little health experiment?
Definitely food for thought.
And if you want to dive deeper into Dr. Kraushaar's thinking, definitely check out his Substack, Double Check Doc, subscribe, get his regular insights.
Highly recommended.
So we'll leave you with this. Knowing now how interconnected fitness, metabolism, stress, and diet really are, what's maybe one small change, one small experiment you could try just to get a little more insight into your own unique health picture?